It is 7:30 p.m. CST of the 24th of April. (2021). And it's time for another episode of Cast Talks. This is a show where me, your humble host, Cass, just sits around and relaxes with you for about 2 hours, reading some good news, looking at animal videos, and providing a little bit of companionship for just a little while. So kick on back, take it easy, take some time for yourself. Good evening, Cass. Good to hear you again. Well, it's nice to have you hearing me. Glad you could make it. And during all this, I'll be making sure to answer any questions that appear in chat. C'est moi, bonjour, monsieur. Well, bonjour to you as well, madam. Glad to have you here, Ella. You've come just in the nick of time. I'm worried that Jenny might be having just a little bit of a problem with her foot still, so I don't know if she'll be hanging out with us today. But before we begin, we had a follow over the week, so I'd like to give my thanks to Abs2212 for the lovely little follow. That's just 2 days ago, but it's still fantastic nonetheless. What does that put us at right now? Let me check that. That puts us 28 followers. I thought it was 27. 28 followers, can you believe that? My gosh. Well, the 28 of us. I know, hey. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. 28 is better than 27. You know what? I can't agree with you more, LA. It's one better. Exactly one better. Though it feels like more than just one to me, because I'm always glad to have anyone interested in all this. But we're going to do some random words today as well. We'll start with one of those right now, actually, if you guys don't mind. Our random word for today is drift. It's a little too ambiguous. Let's go with something else. Avant-garde. Okay, avant-garde's pretty good. So, when I was, let's say 14, when I was just learning about fashion for the first time, I was so interested in trying to make these pairs of clothes that were, you're drifting into the Sunday and can't slow down. I feel like I understand what that's like. I'll get back to that later, though. Avant-garde and drifting. I tried as many combinations of clothes as I could, and like anyone, it takes time to figure out what clothes look best on you and what you like best. For me, it was suit clothing. It's, I guess you could call it business casual to business or entertainment casual. I'm a big fan of vests and suit shirts and ties and suit pants. I like all those things. In fact, I feel very comfortable in them. As well as loafers too. I like loafers. And one day I will have an entire wardrobe, an entire closet filled with all of those things. I look forward to that day because, you know, everyone wants a little bit of nice clothing when they can get it. I'm no different. Oh, I have a little bit of news though, and this might be a little weird to hear it, so brace yourselves. I had my second shot, my second vaccine of 2, just yesterday on Friday. and it's been a ride. Really, it has been. Yay, yeah, I know. I got it out of the way, it's all done. And it certainly has had some effects on me. I have this ritual that I can't quite seem to stop most of the time, where I wake up in the middle of the night, mostly due to my medications, mind you, where I wander into the kitchen and seek like a bagel or something to eat so I can settle my stomach and go back to bed. It's an unfortunate part of taking medications is this particular one actually removes the hibernatory features of my stomach during my sleep. So I still get hungry and have to wake up to eat food. You know, it's pretty nasty, but it's okay. I deal with it alright. This time though, I went to get food and I had this, you're getting your first shot on May the 5th. Hey, better than May the 6th. I can say that much. I hope it goes well for you though. The first one's not too bad, but with the second one, I was getting some food. It was like 12 o'clock at night, and I thought I was going to pass out, so I sat down on the floor, and I laid on my side in the middle of the kitchen, and I fainted, basically. And I laid there for I don't know how long, maybe a few minutes. I got back up, and I was just sitting on my kitchen floor in the dark, just thinking for about 10 minutes, just thinking about how I felt and what was happening. And I did still feel faint for a little while, but eventually I got a bagel and a nutrition bar and went back to bed. That's as bad as it got for me, besides all the aches and cramps. Yeah, I do hope that it goes well for you. It's pretty minor, all things considered, because some people have had really bad effects from it, but me, I just fainted while I was lying down on the floor, which isn't too bad. Could be a lot worse. But certainly, there are a lot of things that I worried about, and I still worry about them, but I'm doing better for the most part. I seem to be fine now. So I can go back to taking walks and enjoying lovely little outings into the sun. Probably by tomorrow. Get back on my exercising too. It'll be great. But we're gonna get into our first news story. Oh, before we do that, I hope that you, Playful, and you, Ella, have had a lovely week so far. I hope that you're doing alright, and feel free to share some stuff that's been happening with you if you'd like. Our first good news of the day. Let's see. Week was alright. My allergies are killing you though. Oh, yeah, I am so blessed to not have to deal with any allergies. Except I'm allergic to Abilify, but that's about it. Which allergy is getting you right now? Is it pine? Or is it something else? Something worse? Pollen? Pollen's worse than pine from what I've heard. Yeah, they really do suck. Drinking this juice could help promote healthy aging, scientists find. This is from Good News Network from the 23rd, yesterday, of 2021. Don't tell me it's beetroots. I hate beetroots. Just 1 second. Drinking certain root vegetable juice promotes a mix of mouth bacteria associated with healthier blood vessels and brain function, according to a new study of people aged 70 to 80. Might be beetroots. Yeah, of course it's beetroots, right? Of course. Certain foods, including lettuce, spinach, and celery, are rich in inorganic nitrate, and many oral bacteria play a role in turning nitrate to nitric acid, which helps to regulate blood vessels and neurotransmission, or chemical messages in the brain. Older people tend to have lower nitric oxide production, and this is associated with poorer vascular, blood vessel, and cognitive brain health. In the University of Exeter study, 26 healthy older people took part in a 2 10-day supplementation period One with nitrate-rich beetroot juice. Of course it's beetroot. Of course it's beetroot. I knew they were going to say that. And another with nitrate-free placebo juice, which they drink twice a day. I know, Ella. I know. It's cast root. Beet cas is the worst. The results published in Redox Biology showed higher levels of bacteria associated with good vascular and cognitive health. Don't beat Cassius. I don't want either of those. I don't want to be beaten. I don't want to be beaten. Especially not with beets, though. Oh, they're so pulpy. They're so thick. Oh, God. Showed higher levels of bacteria associated with good vascular and cognitive health and lower levels of bacteria linked to disease and inflammation. Systolic blood pressure dropped on average by 5 points, mmHg, after drinking the beetroot juice. Ugh. We are really excited about these findings, which have important implications for healthy aging, said lead author Professor Annie Van Hattalo of the University of Exeter. Previous studies have compared the oral bacteria of young and older people and healthy people compared to those with diseases, but ours is the first to test nitrate-rich diets in this way. Our findings suggest that adding nitrate-rich foods to the diet, in the case via beetroot juice, for just 10 days can substantially alter the oral microbiome for the better. Maintaining this healthy oral microbiome in the long term might slow down the negative vascular and cognitive changes associated with aging. Our participants were healthy, active older people with generally good blood pressure, Professor Van Hattalo stressed. Dietary nitrate reduced their blood pressure on average, and we are keen to find out whether the same would happen in other age groups and among people in poorer health. We are working with colleagues in the University of Exeter Medical School to investigate interactions between the oral bacteria and cognition to better understand the how diet could be used to delay cognitive decline in older age. Sometimes good news doesn't have the best writing. Don't know why. Much research has been conducted into the benefits of healthy gut microbiomes, but far less is known about oral microbial communities, which play a crucial role in activating the nitrate from a vegetable-rich diet. It's all hopeful news, and a good reminder to try and ensure rich and varied diets for ourselves. Diets that perhaps include a little more beetroot juice than we might otherwise think to drink. Certainly, I don't think of drinking it, I'll say that much. That's a nice news story for me, though. I think I'll try some beetroot juice. Ugh, I'll try some. I won't like it, though. No one could make me like it. I could just keep trying it, but keep hating it. That's what I'll do. Let's do one more good news story. When Arctic gold miners discovered a lost and helpless bear cub whose mother had died, it didn't take long for her to melt their hearts. As the orphaned cub grew to trust the men, the furry guest soon felt like a friend to the workers on remote Severnaya Zelma archipelago. She even loved bear hugs. This is Orphan Polar Bear That Loved to Hug Arctic Workers Gets a New Life by Judy Cole. Almost forgot that part. But with the crew scheduled to leave the base when their work contract came to an end, the vulnerable bear would be left to fend for herself. Between the threat from other predators and her lack of adequate hunting skills, she wouldn't manage to survive without any help. Fearing they'd only delay the inevitable, the miners hoped the larger store of refuse they'd left behind would be enough to sustain their beloved pal until they could organize a rescue mission for her. Having had no means of outside contact while at the base, the men reached out to Moscow Zoo for guidance at their earliest opportunity. Ginny, well, hello there. I'm glad you could make it. I hope that you're feeling well. Glad you could make it. Really, I am. We're just talking about polar bears. All we knew is that the cub's mother had passed, and that it was months ago when it discovered the base attracted by the smell of food. Andrei Corbin, director of Royev Rushe Zoo in Krasnoyarsk, told the Siberian Times. These names are a little hard. Following protocol, Gorbin contacted Russian wildlife authorities to determine a course of action. After deciding the cub wasn't capable of being on her own, a rescue party was sent to bring her to the zoo. For right or wrong, they fed the endangered animal and, through that, tamed it, Gorbin explained. The shift workers saved its life. The cub had no chance of survival. So while it was technically against the law for the miners to care for the bear, all things considered, at least this now not so little cub is receiving the help she needs and is being cared for in the way that suits her circumstance. Lovely. Talking about gut biomes here as well. We'll save that one for just a minute. It's time to get on to some awesome animal videos. Let's see, where do we have those? We have those. Here they are. Here they are, I said. Oh no. There we go. Well, Jenny, I hope you've had a nice week. I've talked to you a little bit over the week, but I'd still like to hear about some good things that happened, if you've got a few to share. Always happy to hear some good news from your life. Sorry about that. I'll just do it. Yeah, I'll just do that. I scared myself a little bit with that one. Let's do display 2. There we go. Your screen keeps buffering. Yeah, it's my fault. I had something buffering on the side. Is it fixed now? I hope that fixed it. But yeah, we've got some cat videos to look at from Kitty Source, which is one of my favorite cat content creators. Is it working for you, Jenny? Did it fix itself? Some management. This is our next word. I've always had a problem with managing myself. That's something that I've dealt with for my entire life, is managing my time. It seems stuck there. Try reloading your screen, or reloading your stream, your window. That might do it. I've tried to manage myself for most of my life as far as trying to make myself be active and have a lot of activity and that sort of thing. But you can't hear anything. Oh no. Huh. I'm not sure how to help you there. I'm sorry. Here. I think managing your time is probably one of the most essential skills you can have as a human being. I mean, even animals have that ability. I think that one of the more difficult times in my life was when I was actually not having any schedule at all, which is something that happens when you're depressed, is you lose track of having a schedule or a time to do anything. You kind of just wander and have a malaise of activity to the point where sometimes you're just sitting around laying in bed all day. And that was certainly something I fought with. I fought with the idea of oh, I love the cat captions for this, but I fought with the idea of having a balance in my life, because everyone needs a little bit of balance. I think one of the most difficult things there is in life is to balance between the things you love, like your work and the people in your life, and the things that you have to do, like going to the bathroom, brushing your teeth, and work as well, in this case. But this person with all their cats, you refresh now. You're stuck in buffering again. Cute kitty, though. Oh. Can you hear? It is a cute kitty, I'll say that much. But yeah, that's something that I had to really invest a lot of my effort into to try and change. It's really something that I think everybody ends up needing to work really hard on sometime in their life. The ability to actually trying maybe getting out completely and coming back in. That might work too. But you know, it is really easy to get lost in what you're doing in your life and to not think as much about the things you need to do next, you know? Like watch animals in cute outfits rolling around on the rug. Seems to be doing okay now, good. Something that I had it's good. I always had a problem with figuring out how to talk to people in the real world, because I'm really good at doing this, right? I'm good at just sitting here and having conversations and going back and forth between me and other people, and sometimes just myself. But in real life, in the real world, I have a lot of difficulty in having a conversation with people over a greater distance than just standing beside me or in front of me. My voice doesn't carry very far, so I do have to work that much harder to make myself heard and understandable. Though it suits me just fine to do this, because I mean, I've got the right voice for just talking about random stuff. Speaking of polar bears, there's one right now. I do love cats and outfits. It might be possible that my time management has always been a little lacking. Coffee. Do any of you like coffee? That's our next word right now, is coffee. I can't stand coffee myself. You like coffee? Yeah, that's right, you told me you're a coffee person, Ella. Most cats do not like being dressed up. And you love coffee. See, I have always thought that coffee is just not my thing. I don't like the smell of it or the taste of it or the look of it, really. And I feel like everybody seems to have their own take on that because, gosh, these cats are going at that fish. I find that, like, are you more in my camp of not liking coffee? What'd you say? Tell me you guys didn't hear that. There's more scream laughing going on in the background. I know. I'm gonna have to message them again. I'm gonna message them again. Sorry about that. Well, I don't know. I just think coffee isn't that tasty, and I don't seem to have any real boon towards me enjoying it. Oh, good. I'm glad because I hate having background noise showing up too much. I'll just take it out of the video though later on. But yeah, I've always thought that coffee was kind of a stereotypical drink that everyone enjoys, but I've always enjoyed energy drinks more, and tea as well. But energy drinks are terrible for you, where coffee's okay for you, and tea's really good for you, especially green tea. Cat versus the big arm machine. Most people can't do energy drinks, and they shouldn't either. They're terrible for you, and they're not good. But you know, you can become interested and very fixated on them. I became very fixated on them when I was like a few years younger, maybe 3 years younger. I was very into them for a while. I was so into them, in fact, that I was drinking them quite a bit more than I should have, and it was really playing havoc on my nerves and on my, you know, people who have them for breakfast. Yeah. There was this girl in my school, I'll call her T. T would have a Monster energy drink every day for first period. And I don't know how she sustained that for like the 4 years of school that I heard her doing this. But she was habitual. It was a chronic use for her, is to have her Monster in the morning. I'm like, man, she's got to have a messed up kidney, doesn't she? Her kidney's got to be hurting real bad. I'm glad I didn't drink that much. But you know, I might try coffee, like really fresh coffee someday, but for now, I just don't find it very enjoyable. Maybe someday though. Here, let's get a new word. As much as you enjoy coffee, you don't depend on it. That's the right way to do it. That's the right way to do it. So our word is recruit. I've thought about this particular thing a few times, and I think if I was ever going to join the army, like to be a recruit in the United States military, I think I would join as a conscientious objector and a engineer. That's what I would probably do. Because I'm really into like welding and stuff like that, but I'm not as into the idea of causing pain to others and stuff like that. So I think it would be better for me to object to most of those things and to be true to myself and to just your word is one. I don't know. I didn't understand that one, Jenny. I would be as true to myself as possible and try to put the world back together one weld at a time. Recruit. Yeah, recruit. Sorry, I misunderstood. I was thinking about a situation where I joined the U.S. military, and being an engineer, like a military welder, is what I would do. But, you know, that would be in a circumstance that's very different from the one I'm in right now, which I hope, if it ever comes to me joining the Army, that it's under a good condition and not a forced one. But, you know, you never know what could happen next. Cat butt. We did. Cat butt. We did. We were just talking about recruit, you know, being a recruit in like a military. A cat's crude, as I'm sure Ella would like to hear. But you know, I'm in that idea as far as like being a situation that I would have to do something like that, and I'd be okay with that. Last one was coffee. I think this new one is recruit. Yes, it's true. I'm confusing everybody. I'm sorry. We can keep talking about coffee if you'd like to, Jenny. Speaking of which, Jenny, what is your favorite coffee? Because I know that you drink it. Ella, what's your favorite? You have a favorite, right? My brother loves the donut shop coffee. But you know, I always smell them and I'm like, nope, this isn't the one for me. This isn't the one. I end up realizing I'm not into it. You like mocha latte? I've never had that. Latte. Oh, okay. Yeah, mocha latte. I mean, it sounds pretty classic, doesn't it? Sounds pretty classic. You like ice? You like iced coffee? Iced coffee. Not a fan of hot coffee. I had an iced coffee one time that was so bad. I was like, oh, I'm done. I'll never have iced coffee again. It was horrific. And I was like, oh, you know, it's in. I'm done. It's my own fault, though, for getting one so late in the night. A late night coffee is a bad thing. So keep yourself up. Keep yourself wired. And also, it tastes bad. It's just a lose-lose situation. That's a different cast, though. A very different cast, if you will. But my caffeine habits have lowered pretty drastically. I just drink green tea every now and again. It's easier to make iced coffee work, so you can make it sweet, make it super cold, or just a little cold. Well, I believe you, really. I am having a hard time imagining the process of, I guess I can imagine it. It just seems like such a ritual that I couldn't get into, you know, the ritual of making the iced coffee and then sweetening it. It sounds lovely, but I can't imagine myself doing it, like every morning. Maybe if I was into it more, I'd be more willing to think of it more. That cat just does not want to go to the doctor. It's a handsome doctor, though. have to hide in the jacket because they're too afraid to go out of the hospital. It's a cute vibe, though. Yeah, he knows where he is. It's true. He knows. He's like, no, I don't want to be here. Take me home. And you gotta go to the doctor every now and again. I mean, I had to just last month. Or it was this month, actually. Oh, he's not happy. Hurry back, Eli. We're gonna do another good news story. That's exactly when my Gilly dies when we go into the vet. He hides his face in the crook of my elbow. All animals hate the vet. That's very cute, Ginny, and you're right, Playful. Almost every animal I've ever seen does not like going to the vet. It seems like they have a genuine intolerance for the idea. But you know, I guess I can understand if you really don't like, if you like really don't like the idea of, oh, I'm so sorry about that noise. I'm making all kinds of noises today. My bad. It didn't even help that I did that either. Oh well. But yeah, my stream's a little bit in a mess right now. Sorry about that. Our next one is wisdom and loneliness may be shaped by healthy gut microbiomes. The researchers believe. This one is from Good News Network on April the 23rd of this year. The evolving science of wisdom rests on the idea that wisdom's defined traits correspond to distinct regions of the brain, and that greater wisdom translates into greater happiness and life satisfaction, while being less wise results in the opposite, negative consequences. Scientists have found in multiple studies that persons deemed to be wiser are less prone to feel lonely, while those who are lonelier also tend to be less wise. In a new study, researchers at the University of California, San Diego School of Medicine take the connection between wisdom, loneliness, and biology even further, reporting that wisdom and loneliness appear to influence and or be influenced by microbial diversity of the gut. You know, you're gonna have to forgive me a little bit to think about gut biomes, you know, having to do with depression. It sounds a little silly, doesn't it? I don't disbelieve it or anything, but it sounds a little silly, you know what I mean? It sounds a little bit like it might be. It sounds like it might be reaching a little bit, but apparently there's a big old microbial change, right? It's like a scale or a weight, you know. It affects everything in your body to have better biomes as far as bacteria go. And I don't know a lot about it, but I do know that it is certainly strange that that has such an important factor on it. It means I have to stop drinking so much sucralose. Certainly no aspartame either, which I do have a little bit of problem with, because I drink stuff occasionally that it has aspartame and sucralose. But I'll have to stop that. The human gut microbiota is comprised of trillions of microbes, bacteria, viruses, fungi that reside within the digestive tract. Researchers have known for a while about the gut-brain axis, which is a complex network that links intestinal function to the emotional and cognitive centers of the brain. Interesting. This two-way connection system is regulated by neural activity, hormones, and the immune system. Alterations can result in disruptions to stress response and behaviors, said the authors, from emotional arousal to higher order cognitive abilities, such as decision making. Past studies have associated gut microbiota with mental health disorders, including depression, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia, as well as personality and psychology traits regarded as key biologically based components of wisdom. Recent research has connected the gut microbiome to social behavior, including findings that people with larger social networks tend to have more diverse gut biomes. Oh my god, I don't know if I believe that. I mean, that sounds a little strange, doesn't it? I mean, I guess it makes sense that you'd have better microbiomes, you're better at socializing, but that seems really important then if it's all about that. It's a little strange. The New Frontiers in Psychiatry study involved 187 participants aged 28 to 97 who completed validated self-report-based measures of loneliness, wisdom, compassion, social support, and social engagement. Their gut microbiomes was analyzed using body samples. Microbial gut diversity was measured in two ways: alpha diversity, referring to the ecological richness of microbial species within each individual, and beta diversity, referring to the differences in the microbial community composition between individuals. We found that lower levels of loneliness and higher levels of wisdom, compassion, social support, and engagement were associated with greater phylogenetic richness and diversity of the gut microbiome, said the first author, Tanya T. Nguyen, PhD. Assistant Professor of Psychiatry at UC San Diego School of Medicine. The authors said that the mechanisms that may link loneliness, compassion, and wisdom with the gut microbial diversity are not known, but observed that reduced microbial diversity typically represents worse physical and mental health, and is associated with a variety of diseases including obesity, inflammatory diseases, and major depressive disorder. A more diverse gut microbiota may be less susceptible to invasion by outside pathogens, which could contribute to help and promote better resilience and stability of the community. This is a longer one. It is possible that loneliness may result in decreased stability of the gut microbiome and consequently reduced resistance and resilience to stress-related disruptions, leading to downstream physiological effects, such as systemic inflammation, the authors wrote. Bacterial communities with low alpha diversity may not manifest covert diseases, but they may be less than optimal for preventing diseases. Thus, lonely people may be more susceptible to developing different diseases because of it. The relationship between loneliness and microbial diversity was particularly strong in older adults, suggesting that older adults may be specifically and especially vulnerable to health-related consequences of loneliness, which is consistent with prior research. Conversely, the researchers said that social support, compassion, and wisdom might confer protection against loneliness-related instability of chronic stress or help shape social behaviors that promote either wisdom or loneliness. They noted that animal studies suggest that gut microbiota may influence social behaviors and interactions through the hypothesis, though the hypothesis has not been tested in humans. The complexity of the topic and study limitations such as absence of data about individuals, social networks, diet, and degree of objective social isolation versus subjective reports of loneliness argue for longer studies, wrote the authors. Loneliness may lead to changes in the gut microbiome, or reciprocally, alterations of the gut milieu may predispose an individual to become lonely, said Dilip V. Jest, MD, Distinguished Professor of Psychiatry and Neuroscience at UC San Diego School of Medicine and senior author of the paper. My gosh, these titles. We need to investigate much more thoroughly to better understand the phenomenon of the gut-brain axis. We'll be sure to share the research updates about the fascinating potential links between what's going on in the gut and what's going on in the mind as they come in. That's pretty insane to me, to think that it could have such an effect, you know? Just eating differently can affect you so much. I guess I could see it though. You know, I could see it. But something I was thinking about was being available, you know, available to do things with other people, being available to hang out with friends, being available to have a good time with somebody. That might be a part of it too, right? Being ready to go out and have an adventure. You know, if that was based on your microbiomes, then that would certainly be strange too. I can't imagine. Maybe in the future this will be more common, but like a machine that looks at your microgut biome and is like telling you your status, like what mood you're gonna have next and stuff like that based on how your stomach's doing. Gosh, what an interesting world that would be. That's just my thought though. You know, just my single cast thought. I noticed that I'm more available now than in the past for certain things. Like something that I've been less available for in the past, but still, you know, pursued it, of course, because most people do pursue things they're not ready for, unfortunately, was being in a relationship, right? I'd like to be in a relationship with somebody, and not just like a friend relationship, something more romantic would be nice. But in the past, I have been so ill-prepared for it that I have let it sort of self-destruct every time I've tried. And these sorts of things are usually the result of ill-prepared and poorly thought-out intentions. Which, I know my intentions are mostly to meet someone that I can spend my life with, but sometimes, you know, you don't really know what you're doing. And that's the truth with a lot of situations, is if you don't know what you're doing, then you're just at this huge disadvantage. And you end up feeling like you don't know what's happening and that you're out of alignment with the world. That seems to happen to me a lot, at least in those circumstances, feeling out of alignment. It's pretty important, though, to remember that you have to be open to the idea of change, right? You have to be open and ready to accept changes and differences and different loves and hates and passions. Because usually, if you're not ready to accept that, then you won't move forward with much of anything. Unfortunately, that's been my life for a long time because of dealing with recovering from depression and stuff like that. That's an unfortunate thing, but a lot of people have to deal with that because you can't make something whole until you are whole yourself, until you feel comfortable with yourself and you love yourself enough to be creative and to accept love and to give it back. It's definitely been a problem that I had for a while. I still have a problem with it to some degree. I wonder if that has to do with my microbiomes. I hope I get to learn about that someday in a more meaningful way and not just a sort of buzz news kind of way. I'll go into the next word though. Our next word is drama. That's a good one. Some dramas that I've been involved in my life have been really silly. Especially ones that involve, like, misconceptions and misunderstandings. And the worst thing, the thing I hate most about drama is when it's over something that someone just didn't understand properly. You know, I'll be in a situation where I think someone feels a certain way, I'm so sure of it, and they tell me, like, no, I didn't feel that way at all, and it's just so unnecessary. And that unnecessary stuff, it just drags everything down. I'd like to live a drama-free life if I can help it, but that's not completely possible. You know, nobody can completely distance themselves from drama. As much as they might like to. I remember the worst drama I've been through, I think, was when I had a Second Life roleplay group where we were a bunch of evil characters in the Star Wars universe, and my evil council tried to overthrow me, and they basically kicked me out of my own group, and so much drama, but I had to kick all of them instead. It's like a microcosm, you know, it's like a little strange world in and of itself, and it just fed and fed on its own drama until it became out of control. That sort of stuff just happens though sometimes, where you think you have control over a situation, but it just keeps spiraling. You know? I've been in a few of those. Just a few. Those spiraling situations always seem to have a silver lining though, and I think one of them is that I learned I don't really need any of that to be happy, right? I don't need to own a group or to be top dog or to be a winner to be happy. I just wanted to roleplay. I just wanted to have fun, you know, have a good time. Enjoy myself. That's how most people feel. They just want to enjoy themselves. If you can figure out how to enjoy yourself, then you'll probably like life a lot better. That's what I learned. Which I'm still figuring out myself, actually. So we're about to go into our halfway point break. The halfway point break is where we take some time to stand up and stretch, to yawn and go have a little drink and a little walkabout to make sure that we're nice and comfy when we get back. You don't want to sit for too long, so take about 5 minutes to go and get something to drink, go to the bathroom, relax on your feet, and then come on back, and we'll continue episode 27 of Cast Talks. So I'll see you in a minute. Don't take too long. I'm back too. Welcome back, Ella. You missed our whole conversation on microbiomes. Thank you, thank you. Why is everyone so quiet? Yeah, we were taking our halfway break. But I'm back early. Back early just to sit down and have some fun. We're gonna watch some more animal videos here for our second half. Man. What's our next word? Let's look it up. Cats on leashes. I like that. Aloof. I like that one. Being aloof, right? You know, that's been a very common thread through my life, because when you are having mental health problems, especially, you feel so single and so alone and so on your own that when like someone tries to reach out to you and help you, you can almost feel offended, right? You can almost feel offended that they're trying to understand you because you feel so enigmatic. And it's so easy to be like, oh, no one gets it. And when you do that, you make sure that no one gets it. And I've been there before. Really, I've been there. But sometimes you don't want to be understood. Just every now and again when you really feel bad. I've been there. That aloofness, it's not good for you. To be separated from the world around you. You need to be a part of the world. Being a part of the world is what makes you a human being. You know, it's what makes you real. If you're not a part of the world, then, you know, you're nowhere. So you gotta be here. It's the only place to be. Boiled salmon. I haven't had boiled salmon in so long. It doesn't agree with me anymore. But yeah, I really do think that things that like come into our lives, like depression or love or romance, whatever they are, I think that they're very necessary because our lives are so precious and valuable. It's not fair that we have to spend them so far away from the things we want. And it's up to us to work towards those things, towards those wonders, those marvelous things that we owe ourselves, that everyone is owed. Like cats in pajamas. I'd like to have a cat in a pajama laying on top of me someday. I'd like to have a dog and a cat and a cutie pie laying on, like, maybe not on me all at once, but like laying like in close proximity to me. That'd be nice. Surrounded by cuties. That's the way to go. This is the place to be. Doesn't get much better than that. What classifies as a cutie pie? Okay, so this is the way that I judge people that I'm interested in, like physically. You mean a girl? I do mean a girl. Well, a person who is feminine is my preference. I like your question there. I like your question there, Li. But I usually look at eyes, lips, and butt are my usual looking at points for seeing if I like somebody physically. But I'm not I'm not really interested in people that have, I don't know the proper way to say this, so I'll just say it. I like people that are very skinny, because I would like to be very skinny myself, and I prefer that myself. But I do worry that it comes off as a little bit unfair, because not everybody can do that, and I have trouble even getting close to that. But I used to be too skinny, you know, I used to be way too skinny, and I got out of that, luckily. But I want to get a little, oh gosh, that cat is like so lackadaisical. I do want to get into it. It's a preference, so who cares? It's true, but I hate to feel like I don't want anyone to feel any negative way about it. But thank you, you're right. Cats on leashes. Cat leashes. I like that. The cat leashes. But as far as things that I would definitely like in the future, having someone that would show up on the stream with me as like a co-host would be great. You have a preference and it's Aries. You've had many people upset with you because of it, but whatever. Hey, if you like someone, you like someone. You really can't control, like, who they are. You can only control if you spend time with them, and if you spend time with them because you like them, then it seems like a good thing to me. And I'm not one to judge, I'll say that much. But certainly, I like people that are kind of like me, you know, a little crazy, because I'm a little crazy. I do like that in people, but I also like people who are a little bit more normal, which I will admit I'm not the most normal person, but it's a good thing. I like a mix of people who are more normal and people who are more weird. These cats are just fighting over everything. They just can't wait to get their hands on the salmon. Oh, off in the distance, waiting for the salmon. Licking the baguette. Aw. If a cat licks her baguette, it's good luck. That's what I say. Predict. That's a good one too. So, if you've ever played chess, which maybe, you know, you've gotten into it since you've seen TV shows or more recent chess media, which is pretty cool. I'm not into it myself, but I like chess sets are cool looking, especially the more crazy colored ones. But in general, I think that chess is a game of prediction. It's a game of planning and forethought. You know, you predict your opponent's movements and you make arrangements and counter movements and backup plans, and you just do that so far ahead that you win the game before you even start playing it. I've never been very good at predicting things like that, but in my moments of galaxy brain, I do feel like a cast prediction, a cast diction, I don't know, is a wonderful thing when you do get it right, and you're like, oh, I knew this was going to happen. It sometimes happens when I am aware of somebody's discretion or moods or behaviors, and I'll be like, oh, they're gonna be upset with this, and I'm right. And it's not a good right, but it's still a right. And it makes me happy, even if it's not a good thing. Leave the cast quips to you, but you haven't been doing any of them. I have to fill in for you, because you're barely even giving me any ammunition here, anything to work with. But okay, I'll leave it to you. I promise I'll give you all the room for it. Cast quip. Angry sleepy cat, lol, cute. Yeah, I know what you mean. But predicting the future is pretty tough. It's a tough business. Grandmother. Oh, I just now saw Jenny's message. Oh, that's too bad. Jenny had to go. I didn't even see that message. I'll send her a good night text. My grandmother was a very, she was a very mellow woman, you know. Me and her husband, my grandfather, were always trying to help out, and they certainly had a lot of, they had a lot of good moments with me and my brother and my sister. I always remember my grandmother had the greatest, like, sort of grandmother smile, where she would be really happy to see you. And she was always so thin as a stick. My grandpa was too. Grandparents are something special, though. I miss them both. I do think it's a little sad that I didn't get more time to spend with them, but, you know, that's just the way it goes sometimes. I wonder if I'll ever be a grandparent. You know, I don't know. First, you gotta be a parent. It's true. You gotta be a parent before you can be a grandparent. I have thought about a name for a baby girl, though. I think if I ever have a baby girl, I'll want her to be named like Evelyn. I think that's a beautiful name. That's my ideal name. But I know some people come up with names before they even know what kind of child they want, but I have a pretty good idea of it's just ideas I have of being a parent, though of course it's always harder than you think it will be, but maybe someday, right? Evelyn's a cute name, though. I would not be able to keep up with all this cat hair. That would be too much for me. Maybe someday I'll be patient enough to make that work, but cat hair is just so, it gets everywhere, and it's just so, it's so sticky, you know, it clings to everything. But oh well, maybe someday I'll be able to figure it out. Maybe someday. But I hope Jenny gets to sleep alright. Let me see if she messaged me back. Not yet. I've thought about adoption too, though, actually. I've thought about adopting a child, though I think I would think about whether or not I would like to have a baby from natural birth, or if I would prefer to have an adoption. I'm okay with either one, but certainly there is something special about having a baby from yourself. But I'm also thinking about those crazy ideas of like babies that are in these sort of. Have you ever heard of the idea of a baby pack? It's like a fanny pack with a baby in it, and it feeds off whoever it's connected to. That would be cool. Then I could carry around the baby for a little while too. I know, I know. It might be really cool though, because I would be really involved in the process of the child needing like nutrition. I don't know why that appeals to me. I do think about it though. And I'm sure that it'd be a great time and there'd be a lot of suffering and problems, but, you know, one of these days I'll see if I can give it a try. I wonder what Cast Talks will be on by then. By then we'll have played every single cat video on YouTube, and we'll have played every single one of these backgrounds with the jazz playing on it. We'll be doing reruns. Cat baths. Man. The vaccine stuff has been tough though, to be honest with you. It kind of wiped me out this morning and last night. I feel like I barely slept a wink. But then, you know, when I did get up, I was all energetic and a little manic, to be honest with you. Tired and manic. What a terrible combination. Really though, what matters the most is that you find someone that loves you and that you can love back. I'm glad that you've got that though, Ella. It makes me happy whenever you share with me how much you're enjoying your relationship. Because if anybody deserves it, it's you. I'm just letting you know. I think it's great. You know, though, I do think it's important to remember that, you know, not everything works out the first time. And while I appreciate it, it's hard finding people on SL. So when he came along, it was like a godsend. Aw. I remember thinking that I was really lucky to just have anyone in my life, and I was really lucky to be involved with just people in general, with people who care about me, who want to be around me, and who somebody to vibe with. And certainly that's important. But love comes from unexpected places. And you have to have your heart open to it. But I believe that could happen to anybody, any day, right? It could happen to anyone in a few seconds or right now. It happens to 100 people every day. 100 people find love every day, and eventually you'll be one of them if you keep looking hard enough for long enough. Oh, I want to give a cat a hug. That's something I want. It's true. Wondering what's going on with their human. Have you been sleeping well recently, Ella? I haven't asked you that in a while because we haven't actually been able to speak in a little bit. But I do hope you are sleeping well. Me either. I'm not sure what's been causing that, but I keep waking up. I wake up and I put something on to help me get back to sleep, then I wake up and I put something on. And it's just an endless cycle, it feels like. So it's been tough. I hope I sleep better tonight, though. I could use some beauty sleep. That's the end of our cat videos, though. We'll do a little bit of good news. Some rounding out with some good news. Even when you go to bed early, you'll toss and turn until your body is aching. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Ella. It happens to me too, oddly enough. And I feel like it's such a hard thing to actually go to sleep sometimes because if you're not in the mood for it and nothing seems to work, then you're just sort of there and nothing seems to be happening. Which is the most frustrating part of insomnia, is when you're just not sleeping when you should. Like everything seems right, but it's just not working. That sucks. Common human antibiotic can heal coral diseases. 95% success rate with amoxicillin. From Good News Network from today. Diseases continue to be the major threat to coral reef health, but a new study by Florida researchers reveals how a common antibiotic used to treat bacterial infections in humans is showing great progress. A recent outbreak of an infectious disease called stony coral tissue loss has affected 20 different stony coral species, first discovered in 2014 in Miami-Dade County. The disease has spread throughout Florida's coral reef and into parts of the Caribbean. In treating disease-affected Manta striae cavernosa coral colonies, The Harbor Branch Oceanographic Institute of Florida Atlantic University found that an amoxicillin treatment had a 95% success rate at healing individual disease lesions. Though it did not necessarily prevent treated colonies from developing new lesions over time, preserving M. carinosa colonies is important due to the role as a dominant reef builder in Florida's coral reef. There are 3 possible scenarios that may explain the appearance of new lesions in the amoxicillin-treated lesions of the corals that had healed in our study, said Aaron N. Schilling, MS, the study's author. It's possible that the causative agent of stony coral tissue loss disease is still present in the environment and is still reinfecting quaescent colonies. It also could be that the duration and dose of the antibiotic intervention was sufficient to arrest stony coral tissue loss, but insufficient to eliminate its pathogens from the other areas of the coral colony. Success in treating stony coral tissue loss disease with antibiotics may benefit from using approaches typically successful against antibacterial infections in humans. For example, using a strong initial dose of antibiotics followed by a regimen of smaller, supplementary doses over time, said Joshua Voss, PhD, senior author and associate research professor at FAU Harbor Branch and executive director of the NOAA Cooperative Institute for Ocean Exploration, Research, and Technology. These titles, the titles are so big, like you have to make a whole paragraph just for this guy's title. Further efforts are needed to optimize dosing and delivery methods for antibiotic treatments and scale up intervention treatments effectively. The study was conducted approximately 2 kilometers offshore from Lauderdale by the sea in Broward County. Colonies were monitored periodically over 11 months. This research is a collaboration that includes the Disease Advisory Committee, organized by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, and the NOAA, of which Voss and Schilling are members of. The study, published in Scientific Reports, was funded by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection and Environmental Protection Agency and the Harbor Branch Oceanographic Institute Foundation. I think that's enough good news for today. We'll do one more. This is to replace lithium batteries for grid storage. Gravitricity uses gravity. A company that uses gravity to create a giant battery has just completed a successful test in Scotland, paving the way for its commercial scale rollout. The firm is called Gravitricity, and their device, which has a 25-year lifespan, could help prevent the mining of rare earth minerals in the creation of lithium-ion batteries, while providing a cost-effective alternative for renewable storage. Costing €1 million to build a 15-meter tower with a 25-ton weight, Gravitricity says the prototype can generate 250 kilowatt hours and deliver electricity in less than a second when demand occurs. The device has been designed to go in old mine shafts rather than up in the air, and these tests confirm our modeling and show that gravity energy storage is a serious contender in the global energy storage market, said company managing director Charlie Blair. The technology relies on sending excess power from renewables, such as wind power, into cable pulleys that slowly hoist a heavy weight up the tower, storing potential gravitational energy that is released back into the system as electricity when the weights are lowered. Wow, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I don't know, does that make sense to you, Ella? I guess it makes sense. I have to think about it pretty hard, though. The company is already in advanced discussions with mine owners in Britain, Scandinavia, Poland, and the Czech Republic over possible locations for initial European projects. If this technology is one that really makes a difference, it's going to make a difference globally, Blair told BBC Scotland. It's going to keep the lights on in Africa as they build the grid just as much as it will in Europe. Global renewable storage markets are huge, being valued by Bloomberg at more than $600 billion, While releasing no emissions, renewable energies can't store electricity they've generated, and ingenious methods for addressing this problem utilize all kinds of materials and strategies. GNN reported last year on a pair of startups from Britain and Sweden that use the phase change of matter, i.e., going from a solid to a liquid to a gas, to store and then again to release energy, one of which stores air and liquid from being before converting it back to gas. The other uses molten aluminium. Other innovators are recycling batteries from EVs, and now Gravitrocity utilizes potential gravitational energy. While all these methods seem electric and disunified, they are exactly the kind of thing a dynamic and important market like renewables storage should be seeing. With each firm that succeeds and each firm that fails, the sector learns valuable lessons, speeding the process towards developing a Model T-like breakthrough. That's great. Let's do our next word. Sensitivity. I am a very sensitive individual, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, but it seems unfortunate sometimes. Sometimes someone will say something not intending to be cruel or to be offensive at all. And it might not actually even be that offensive, but it bothers me and it gets to me and gets under my skin. This is usually when it comes to my family that these things happen. Otherwise, it's very rare outside of my family because usually I don't care that much, but, you know, people close to me especially have a huge advantage on accidentally wounding me, which I suppose is true about most people as well. But it's really easy sometimes to feel overly sensitive because I'm pretty sensitive myself, and I sometimes get frustrated that I care about things people say so much, especially when they don't mean them to be mean, and it does affect me, it does affect me, and it's annoying. It's really annoying when you're just having a conversation and something just happens to hit you for what seems like no reason. But those sorts of things, they sort of flood my mind when I'm trying to sleep. It's a lot though. It's a lot to think about. Let's go to our next word. Miracle. When I was told that I had depression, when I learned what it was, it felt miraculous to me. It felt kind of like waking up and seeing the world as it really is for the first time. Because when you are undiagnosed in something and you don't feel like anything makes sense and you don't know where you're going or what's causing you to do what you do, it can sometimes be so relieving and so, like I said, miraculous to learn that you have something that's like an actual problem with you, and that you can actually point to and say that's what's causing it. because there are so many times in my life where I was like, well, I don't know what it is. You know, I don't know why I feel this way. I just do feel this way. And I was about 19 and a half, so almost 7 years ago is when I first started realizing that I needed to go and get help. My 7-year-long road to recovery. It does take a while. Really, it does. But I hope to get a job next month. That's my plan anyway. I think I've mentioned it before, but I do hope I get a nice job that's close by that I can walk to pretty easily. That'd be great. Nice summer job. I can do my summer job on the mornings, on weekdays. That'd be nice. And then I could come home and hang out and be free on the evenings and the afternoons. And I would just have a little bit to do every day, you know, a little bit to do. And I could show up and do my job and clean up and help people. And I think being a cashier is what I'm good at. Not the cashiering part, but the actual talking with people and getting to know people. And customer service is something I excel at. Plus, I really do like talking to people. It's one of my favorite things, actually, is to talk with people. One-on-one is more interesting to me than most other things, but I'm okay with multiple people. It's just, I'm a one-on-one kind of person, usually. But you know what? Sometimes having more company and a crowd around you can be really fun too. So you can't discount that too fast. Bubble. Let's do that one. Honestly, there are many times in my life where I've felt like I was stuck in a bubble. You know, where I felt like I was not really sure what I was going to do next. And certainly when you're just starting out on a path of any kind and you don't really know what is going to happen, especially when it comes to health, physical or mental, you can feel so stranded and so caught inside of that bubble. You can be stuck there for who knows how long, and you feel like you'll never get out. You feel like you'll be stuck there for eternity in a day. And you can be in a lot of pain and discomfort and not really know what to do next. And oftentimes when I'm in that position, I find that the best thing to do is just ride it out. You know, just let it happen and just make it to the other side. You know, just buckle up, I guess. But maybe channeling it into something is better. I just have a hard time channeling anything when I'm in that bad way. Maybe some painting would be good, though. I'd like to have a room for painting, like a big old painter's set where I can just like start mixing colors and just start putting paints to the canvas and see what happens. Oh, that cat yawning made me yawn. And I think that something that is hard to do when you're feeling that way is just any kind of action at all can feel so like breathless and so unable to work through, just because it is so challenging to have to deal with like a panic attack or an anxiety attack to the point where it almost feels impossible to work through it. You just toss and turn. Luckily, medication's a pretty great thing, even though it has its downsides. That cat just will not let go of that flower. Just won't let go. So, when I go on my walks during the day, I usually walk around the suburbs that I'm living next to. And I walk for about an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, and listen to podcasts. Mostly Cox and Crendor in the morning, and Chilluminati. Likes chewing it too, it's true. I've never been a fan of, like, chewing on, like, plants. Plants is not really fun for me, because there's not enough flavor in them. But like gum and on candy, I love chewing on. It's very kinesthetically pleasing to me, especially if it's like chewable candy where it's like really gummy. That's great. Starbursts are a good example of that. I walk for about an hour and a half, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good exercise, but I'm always trying to think of new ways to turn it up, and I think I might start adding weights to my legs. That's what I might do next. Start wearing weighted clothing. Yeah, that might be good too. I could wear one of those things where it's like it's like a strap around your stomach where you put little lead weights into, little lead plates. That'd be great. I could wear a shirt over it and no one would even know that I'm all leaded up. I'm a lead head. Mr. PB. Cast the PB. But generally speaking, I do like the idea of wearing weights when you're exercising, because I like doing just normal low impact stuff, but with like an extra level of difficulty added to it. And it is great to sort of feel that improvement. It's great to feel that improvement because it is so tiring sometimes to have to actually take that extra time to go the extra mile when you could make it easier for yourself by making it harder for yourself, if that makes sense, which it might not. Certainly though, I am interested in trying stuff like that out, because I don't think I have enough protein in my diet to gain a lot of muscle, but certainly I'd like it. I'd like to get nice core muscles, you know, like a fairly flat stomach, and you know, good definition would be all I would ask for. My legs have always been crazy strong though. I don't know why that is, but I've got really good kicks. I can kick pretty darn hard. A little bit more fat on my thighs than I'd like though. But you know, that's just how it goes. You know what? I wonder if I'll be able to get rid of some of that. I do think this is going to be a good summer for exercise though. It's going to be a good summer for getting fitter and getting more fat burned. Watching this popcorn is making me hungry though. I remember when I was more into popcorn. I can't eat it anymore though because of the lactose on the milk or the butter, but I remember it really well. I wonder what cats think of popcorn. You know, I wonder what they think. But they like it. Feeding a cat popcorn from your hand. It's not too bad. Not a bad place to be at all. Getting a little bite of that popcorn, just a little bit. Just a little snippet. That does sound like fun though, to wear weighted clothing or wear like weights on your legs and stuff like that. That sounds like fun. You'll feel all heavy, but then when you finally get them off, you'll be like light as rain. You know, you'll be as light as the air, as light as the wind. You'll feel so great. I do like that a lot. Hey, look, it's Japanese Netflix. But I do need to devise, I like the idea of weighted shoes for when I do step/crunches. That sounds good too. Weighted shoes, wow, that's great. It's like those are some heavy shoes, you know what I mean? You're taking heavy steps with them. Only the heaviest of steps for the heaviest of boys and girls. You could wear full body weights and you can like, you know, just be like a chungus, like going, you know, you're like, just like every step is like a whole like gasp of air because it just takes so much energy to step at all. You know, you're just like, in the next step, you know, you have to like force yourself to take a step. Sounds cool. That's the ultimate way to get fit walking. You make your walks weigh so much that it's it has its own gravitational pull. Maybe someday. Step on your enemy's hands, yeah. You can destroy their will with your weighted shoes. They'll be like, we can't stop them. They've been practicing with weighted clothing. They're too thick. They're too chungus. And then no one will stop you. You'll just be all full steam ahead. All systems go. But yeah, it is really important to find an exercise regimen that works for you, because it is so difficult for me to maintain a habit, right? A habit of going on walks is really great because I like walking around and seeing things, but to maintain a rigor, right, where I could be like doing something that is actually difficult for me every time, that seems really tough. And I think the best thing would be to try to find some way to spice it up, you know, make it spicier without making it like impossible. Because I'm not really a jogger or a runner for the most part. I'm a slow moving sort of, oh my gosh, do you hear that? Someone's a speedster out there. I'm a fairly slow moving individual. I go pretty slow, but I make progress at my own pace. I'll look into it though. I will look into some nice weighted stuff for my clothes. Let's go to our next word. Ambition. We've gotten this word before, but I'll do it again. It's been my ambition to make like a little thing that people enjoy, you know, just a snippet of time, in 2 hours every week, I mean, that's pretty good. It's just a little thing where people can take some time to relax from their week, and they can take some time for themselves to do nothing but sit back and take it easy. I feel like if everybody took that time every week to do a little bit of nothing, a little bit of background noise, a little bit of me time for themselves, I think we'd live in a better world. We'd all be happier. But this is my me time, it feels like. You know, a lot of this is just for me. It's my ambition to grow and to grow a community from all of this lovely stuff that we do together, you know, just sitting here and talking. I really do like it, though I get tired sometimes. I'm not Herculean. I do get tired doing these, but I seem to carry on through them for the most part. Though sometimes I have to stop because I just get so tired. Every now and again. I think it's a noble ambition, though, to be like, I want the world to be a better place, and I want to be one of the people to make that happen. And it always makes me feel better when I get close to it, in any sense. I feel like every little follower that we get, you know, every awesome friend that we get in the channel is just another step closer to me making that work, you know, achieving that. And one day soon we'll hear that subscriber noise, and we'll know we've made it as a team of cuties, putting their cute energy together to make the world a better place. That's what I want. Evolution. So, Cast Talks has evolved from a lot of things, but one of them was it evolved from me having some free time on my Saturdays, right? Because sometimes you just have something that you're not doing anything with. Like, you know, like, what do I do on Saturdays at 7:30? I don't know. I watch YouTube videos. I play video games, but I don't do that anymore. You know, I don't go on Second Life very much. I don't play video games very much. So I was like, what am I gonna do? You know, it's really important to do stuff with your Saturday. But now I have this where I just sit here and do my thing for 2 hours, just 2 hours every week. We're coming up on week 30, week 30 pretty soon. And you take that little time and you stretch it out. You make it powerful and important and impactful. And you really make the world out of it. You make the world. It's a world inside of itself. And eventually that grows and creates branches into a tree. And it has its own life. And I do look forward to seeing that life grow even more. And you know, every time that we have a follower, we just grow that life a little bit longer. It's a very good thing. Achievement, that's pretty good. I think it would be an achievement for me to have a thing in my life that I can point to that makes my life so much better. And I do point to this show to make my life better, but like having a thing where I'm like, this is a good inspiration for me. I don't really have one of those at the moment where I feel like I have a muse, but I've been looking for one for a while. It has something to do with the whole relationship thing as well. But generally looking for somebody who adds something new to my life, that's something I think of, you know, that's something I'm interested in. And certainly I do like the idea of being inspired by someone. That's certainly something that appeals to me. It certainly does. and I am hoping I can encounter it sooner rather than later, as I've said before, but I don't mind if it takes some time. I'm not as like lonely as I used to be, which is good. Speaking of microbiomes, I think mine's doing better. Ella won't get that one, but everybody, Playful will get that one, because I think she was here for it. Alright folks, we've come to the end of our time, at least for today. So, I want to thank Ginny Breen, and Teddy Two Bears, which is Ella, and Music Freak, who is Playful. You guys, as always, you make my day. You make it fun to do this, you make it interesting, and you make me feel like I'm actually talking to someone and not just myself, which sometimes is the case, but, you know, you guys are the best, and I love you guys. So thank you so much for showing up. And to everybody out there who's listening now, you know, I hope that you enjoyed yourself. I hope you had a nice time and you feel nice and relaxed. And to everyone in the future, I hope that you have a good night. You stay safe. And take care. As always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.